Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is our Arsenal preview series show, which we look ahead to the next Arsenal fixture and tomorrow's game. Unfortunately, sad news, is the final Premier League game before a significant break as the World Cup takes hold of global thoughts and minds in Qatar. Yes, controversial. And I'll be very honest, I'm feeling quite detached from this World Cup compared to usual ones. I think I'm even going to be missing part of the England game, the first England game of the group. And I'll be very honest, there's something that I'd usually be really bothered by that. And I just don't find myself feeling too bothered by that fact. That might be bad. Obviously, it was Arsenal. It'd be very different. My attachment and feelings for Arsenal compared to the national team are very different. But yeah, it's something very strange about international football. I might have a chat about that with my guest this evening because, of course, with our preview shows, we always look ahead to that fixture with the help of some of the brilliant members from the Discord. We're joined this evening, this afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world, by Chris. How you doing, mate? You good, Joel?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it's the afternoon in London, nearly dinner time. So, yep, getting hungry already. So,
how are you feeling about this World Cup approaching? Are you like me? Are you feeling detached in the same way, or are you excited for it?
I can't get excited for any of the internationals, if I'm honest with you. I find the whole England thing doesn't really do it for me. I don't have that. Well, if we get to the semi-final, then yeah, okay, then I might get excited. But until then, it's pretty much it's a bit like supporting Charlton Athletic. I think flatter to deceive and never win anything.
You're trying to mug my missus off. Is that what you're doing?
and my first missus as well.
All good, mate. All good. Yeah, no, it is what it is regarding international football. We're also joined by Tomo. How you doing, mate? You good, Joel?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Same question. International tournament. How are we feeling?
I was really excited for the Euros, but this one, nah. There's just too much going around it. Like, obviously, I'm still looking forward to it, but yeah, I'm missing one of the group stage games as well, and I'm not too fussed about it. So.
Yeah. And by the way, those listening, there's nothing wrong if you're looking forward to it, and there's nothing wrong if you're not. Everyone has different views on the World Cup. I'm certainly going to judge people for choosing to or not to watch it. I think it's down to personal opinion whether or not you want to. But there's just a strange feeling about it. Joining us from across the pond, down in Texas, it's Matt. How you doing, mate? You good, Joel?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
Not bad. Are you looking forward in a different sense? The USA going into a World Cup once again. That must be a different level of excitement from your end.
Yeah, it is. Usually I'm buzzing for the World Cup, but kind of like y'all, I'm not. I don't have my expectations for the US, the way we've been playing, aren't too high. Maybe once the tournament kicks off and storylines keep going, and depending on how the US team does, I'll get more into it. But at this point, I really haven't even thought about it. So, kind of on the same page as y'all.
Very good, mate. Very good. No, I am disappointed by the US's form actually going into the competition, because I really bigged them up thinking that they would come second behind England, but I have a horrible feeling that they might not. But I'm fingers crossed, hoping that they still do push through. I know how many of our listeners, of course, are from the States. I'd love to see as many of them progress through as possible. Thank you, Craig, in the chat box. TC, hope you're well, my friend. Just became an official AA chapter for Fort Lauderdale. That's fantastic. Show everyone the shirt. I'm not showing anyone the shirt, but what I will tell people is that Craig sent me a design request for TGT merch, which is literally just a white t-shirt with my face on it. And I don't think anyone needs to wear that. No one needs to wear that at all. And I don't think anyone would buy it at all either. Well, maybe one being Craig, and two, maybe Mike from the Gooners pod. That's about it. That's all I can imagine. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody joining us in the chat box. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Chris, Wolves tomorrow. How are you feeling regarding the game?
I think there's almost a mindset change with this game in that
we got a little bit of a Dalek sound. You might want to take your mic out and put it back in again.
Sorry, yeah. Few technical problems this end. Can you hear me all right now?
It's still a little bit Dalek-y. What I'll do is I'll move to Tomo, and then while you sort that out. Yeah, I will do. Tomo, same question. How are you feeling about tomorrow's game?
I'm a little bit nervous just because I'm sure City are going to win at the 12:30, so it really puts pressure on us. And there's just something about it going away to a team that literally don't score any goals. And I remember the Wolves game when it was lockdown a couple of years ago, and we played the best football in that season in the first half. And then we get the dodgy pen from David Luiz, and they wallop one in from about 40 yards into the top corner, unsavable. I just have that scarred in my memory. But I have full confidence in the team that will pull out a performance and will play well. But there's just something in the back of my mind that that's their only chance of getting a goal is a Neves outside the box thunderbolt, which is really all their goals they've got this season, or a penalty. And I just have a feeling that he's just going to come up with the goods and at least get one. So, but I think we'll be all right. I think we will win the game, but there's just that worry.
There is. I mean, yeah, Wolves is a place that we've gone to and had ups and downs. I remember I think it was Raul Moutinho that scored one from range against us previously as well. And obviously we won last season, but that was the Martinelli red card, that the strange double yellow?
Yeah, the one where the one that we'll never ever see for at least 50
Ever
years.
Again.
Yeah, I mean I mean, I just I've got no words to describe what that was. I think we'll be all right though. I don't actually know who the ref is, but I think we'll be all right.
There's usually someone on Twitter that posts.
I mean, they'll be terrible, but so it doesn't really matter. But,
does it really matter?
I mean,
who it is.
I mean, as long as one of the Wolves players doesn't fall over in the box with one of our players near them, we should be all right. Otherwise, they'll get a penalty and we'll get a red card.
Stuart Atwell. To be fair, I said, does it matter? Yes, it does when it's Stuart Atwell.
Yeah, he was the City game, wasn't he? When
I think so.
He
was that Paul Tierney?
I think it was Stuart Atwell, the one where literally the entire stadium were.
Guess who's on VAR?
Oh, great! What a combo!
He doesn't referee anymore. Is a clue. Who's going to be on VAR?
Mike Dean.
Mike Dean is on VAR as well. I mean, could you dream of a greater combination for one Arsenal fixture? Stuart Atwell and Mike Dean. Lovely.
We've got to win it in the first half then. Otherwise, they are going to get some dodgy decision. They are.
Yeah, look, the game against Southampton, the referee was one of the big factors to why we didn't win that game, but we created enough chances that we should have taken it out of the referee's hands. That's the same situation here, is we need to not put the game in the control of the officials. Chris, let's do a mic check just to see if you're there.
Have you got me loud and clear now?
Yes, I do. Lovely dulcet tones. Carry on where you left off, my friend.
What was the question again? I've had to do IT since then.
How are you feeling ahead of the game?
It's that. It's almost like there's an expectation we're going to win, and I think I got trolled by a mate of mine who's a Bristol Rovers fan for not dreaming that we were going to win the league, and I think that's quite fair. I think we're at that point where we're the second best team in the country at the moment. We're going, but we got more points than the other team, but I think in reality, I was at the Carabao Cup on Tuesday. Wednesday.
I'm so sorry.
And we've got there's some really great things came out of that game, but the result clearly wasn't one of them. So I think and Wolves are they're in transition. They've got a new manager. They're going to display him before the game, but he's not actually picking the team. He's got a great pedigree. So who knows?
Matt, in terms of kind of the side we're coming up against in Wolves, they've got some difficult situations with their forwards. You've got Jimenez, you've got Diego Costa suspended. There's another forward I think that's out. Kaladzic I think is also out for the long term. So they are missing a lot of forward players. They started the game at the weekend with Gonzalo Guedes, Hee Chan Huang, and Daniel Podence was their front three. What do you make of that as a potential kind of feeling around, us potentially having something to defend against, which isn't going to be as strong as what it usually is?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about that. I mean, kind of like Chris was saying, I think they're the lowest in the league in terms of scoring goals this year. Their attack hasn't had a lot of threat. They've got a lot of injuries, but they're a team in transition. They got a new coach that's going to take over right after, once we go to the World Cup break. I just don't. I'm not scared of them on attack. I'm strangely calm about this game and confident. I'm usually a nervous wreck no matter who we're playing. But I think our position in the league, we have something to fight for. We've quote unquote passed every test that we've had so far this season. Some big moments. I have a strange suspicion that maybe with the World Cup call-ups that have already gone through with Jesus and Martinelli and Saka making the team, I think maybe part of Jesus's kind of dry run on scoring goals, maybe he was pressing to get in the World Cup team. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but maybe now that he's in the squad, he's going to the World Cup, maybe he can play with a little bit more freedom in front of goal. And same with Saka and Martinelli as well. And so I think we have a different mindset. I'm not scared. We have something to play for. I think if we were maybe like mid-table and, we're not really fighting for anything, maybe a lot of our players would pack it in for the World Cup, but I just don't see us doing it. I think we'll be fine. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that there is a lot of threat still in that team. There's a lot of quality to come from that side in particular. So I think that, there's a frustration, obviously, we're going towards that something is going to go wrong and that we're going to face a team that's motivated because the narrative of the celebration police, if you remember that back to last season, all these things combined, I think obviously lead to there being something. But Chris, there's such a momentum about Arsenal right now. And I mean, with the lineups, if we look at those, there's such an obviousness about what team is going to get picked that you feel as confident going into these games.
Yeah, I do. I think we've got this. We've got a nice position where we know how to play, and we're coming up against an opposition where we don't have to change how we're playing. We don't have to react for them. All we've got to do, if we go and play our game, we'll come out on top. So in some respects, it's really nice, and it's and it puts us in that really strong place to go. You should be, they're going to be worried about us more than we're worried about them. And I think we just go and we play and we just spend time playing with each other. I mean, that was the thing on Wednesday. I mean, 10 different players to what we would normally put out. And of course, they just didn't have the cohesion. I mean, the result wasn't as horrendous as it sounded. For those of you that didn't see it or haven't watched it on playback, don't waste your time. Actually, we played quite well. We could have won the game. We didn't put our chances away. We had some people that played really well, and we had some that quite honestly didn't. But I think this is back to business as usual. And as long as these guys all stay fit, then I think at the moment it's very difficult to take them out. I will bleat on a little bit about the Wednesday match, so shut me up, Tom, if I say too much. But I think there were some guys who came out of it really strongly, and there were some guys who came out of it that I think they need to go and give themselves a long, hard look. So Reece Nelson ran his socks off. I don't know what you saw on the telly, but the poor guy was and we kept wanting to go down the right. It's like, no, just give it to him. He was turning them. He was pushing them. He actually looks like he really wants to play for us. And I think he's almost picking the vibe up. My concern with Eddie, and I don't want to get too much on Eddie's back, but I don't know whether this comes out on the Y-scale stats or anything like that, and I meant to ping you, so apologies. He actually stopped running and he started the Aubameyang jump. Now, just to explain what that is, well, what would happen with Aubameyang is he'd sort of make a movement towards something where he should have run, right? Jesus will just keep running, right? And if the ball's gone by the time he gets there, it doesn't matter. I keep going. And Eddie was starting to do that, that little jump of, it doesn't really matter. Oh, it's all right. It's only Brighton. And those habits he needs to break. And I think if he does, he'll be much better for us, and I think he's got everything. He just needs to get the Jesus mentality back. So for me, that was I think that was the thing that worried me most about the performance. I know everybody's complaining about Vieira being made of paper and blah blah blah, and some of the people around me, that's their opinion, and I'm not arguing that they're right or wrong. I think with him, if you're playing around players that aren't as good as the first team, then you're going to struggle. So and it's his first season in. Other than that, I think not winning the Carabao Cup. Certainly, of all my regular mates, right, we all looked at each other and went, "Well, so what? Move on." And this game isn't that. This game will be if we lose this game or don't get 3 points of this game, we're all going to go into Christmas fed up. I managed to stop myself saying that word.
Quick word on Zinchenko as well, being your star player.
Yeah, I think. Look, the guy's not going to the World Cup. Right? I think when he plays, that we get a massive fluidity with Martinelli, Xhaka, and him. Right, the three of them play beautifully. I mean, it's almost like ballet the way they interchange with each other. Tierney doesn't do that yet, but you actually see him trying to do it. And I just think he's got loads to prove. And I picked him really because I saw on Twitter that he'd had his home gym painted as the Arsenal Stadium with him and his 35 thing. If you haven't seen that, go and look at it on Twitter. It's hilarious, right? Anybody that puts that in their spare room, they deserve to be man of the match to me.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Let's go to Tomo's team, I think, is up next. Obviously, the same 11. We've all gone through it. Just for the benefit of those listening on audio, we've got Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. But Xhaka's your standout man. I mean, he's going to be going off to the World Cup, of course, but he has been excellent this season, and you expect him to have another big game here.
Yeah, I think Wolves are in a real mess. I've seen some real stories. Like, for example, their keeper, Sarr, has been playing with a broken wrist for most of the season.
Wow.
And I've gone for Xhaka, not only for his...
To break his other wrist, is that what
yeah,
shot?
Well, I was thinking shots from... well, in my mind, I was like, shots from distance. They're going to be quite... If he can't use one of his hands properly, I'm sure it's probably a little bit better now, but playing week in, week out is not going to help it. If you find the corner or near the corner, he's not going to be able to save it. And also, Semedo got sent off in their last game. And the way he finds the pockets in that sort of little space and pocket between the defender and the fullback, they're going to have to play a makeshift defence. They're not going to be used to playing together. And I think him and Martinelli and Zinchenko are all going to be key in that. But I picked Xhaka because he's better. He's the one that gets into that space and frees up Martinelli and Zinchenko. So that's why I've gone for him there. But Wolves are in a real mess. There's even Neves, when he won their Player of the Month, the official Wolves person who handed in the award said, "Oh, good luck in January and stuff," like hinting that he was going to leave. In their official media they put out, they are in a real mess at the minute. And I think if we go out there and we play our game, they're going to... I mean, you saw the way they played against City. You've seen the way they played even against Brighton. They weren't very good in that game. The scoreline did flatter them a lot. We should go out there. We should win by at least 2 or 3 goals if we really apply ourselves properly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's... You're building it up for us to embarrass ourselves, Tom. Wolves are dreadful. Wolves are awful. There's no way we can lose.
I'm just saying, if we want to be this team, we have been on all metrics clear and far away. Just the second best team. City are only just ahead of us on a lot of these things. With Haaland, with their squad, we should be going out there. We've not lost a game since United.
Yeah.
Even a point, I know we should go out and we should be winning this game, but even a point, really, is that the end of the world? We go into the World Cup break second. Oh no, no one thought we would be here. We do need to keep pushing and we need to strengthen in January, but winning this game, I think we should win the game, but even a point, I don't know, it's not even the end of the world, really.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I think that, I think that with a team like Wolves, we should be going and winning comfortably. We should be making a statement before the World Cup saying, we are taking the top of the table for Christmas and, really, really strongly too. Of course, City, we expect to pick up a win as well, but there's nothing wrong with putting pressure on the top of the table at all. And lastly, Matt, Gabriel Jesus, you're backing him for this game finally to break that drought that he's undergoing.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to my earlier point, I mean, I know his goal scoring drought has been talked at length on this show and media and other shows. And I know there's a lot of different factors, but obviously his overall game has been amazing, minus putting the ball in the back of the net. But I just have a suspicion or a hunch, and I might be totally wrong, but now that he's part of the World Cup squad, he doesn't have that hanging over his head. He knows he's going. Maybe he plays a little bit more free and kind of loosens them up in front of goal. And just, like Tom was saying, Wolves are a mess. I'm not scared of them at all. They're going through all kinds of transition. Yeah, they have some talented players, but they're not playing well as a team. I feel like with Zinchenko back in the lineup, he completely changes the way we attack. Obviously, with this inverted role, pushing into the midfield and the half spaces. I think we're just going to be too much for him. And I think we'll want to make a statement right before the World Cup, so that way for the next 2 months we can annoy the crap out of the rest of the league that we're top of the league. And so, I just think it's going to kind of fall perfect, and Jesus will want to go to the World Cup, make a statement, and I think it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely. Let's go to predictions then. And chat box, this is your chance, of course, to get involved in the conversation. Chris, I'll start with you. Scoreline and scorers, please.
Yeah, so I've and ahed over 1-0 or 5-0 because I think it's going to be one or the other. I can't see them scoring. I'll go 5-0. I think
Wow.
Jesus will get 2, Martinelli will get 2, and I think Xhaka will get 1.
Lovely. Tom?
4-0 Cedric to get all 4 goals.
And your genuine prediction?
No, I am 4-0, but I think Jesus will get 2. I think Martinelli will get 1, and I'm going to go for Xhaka, my star man, to wallop one in from 40 yards.
And break Sar's other wrist.
Yeah, break Sar's other wrist.
Matt, lastly, your scoreline and scorers, please.
Man, I was going with 3-0. Thought I was going to be crazy with that. I got shown up. I think Jesus will get 2 and Martinelli will get 1. So
lovely stuff. Yeah, I think that I've gone for 3-0. We don't have the best of luck in the black shirt, and I imagine we will probably play in that black shirt. Although potentially with their black shorts, we might end up playing in the pink kit with some kind of other shorts situation, or we might just play in the home kit. It's difficult to know these days about what you can and can't wear because the amount of times you have to change your shorts for certain games. So who knows? We'll see what we'll be wearing, but we don't have the best of luck in our away black shirt at the moment. I'd quite like us to turn that form around whilst we're in it. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. Jesus to get on the score sheets. I do believe who did I pick as my? Did I pick someone? Yeah, Saka. I picked as my star man. I didn't even go through my selection, but yeah, I did pick Saka as my guy. So I'll get him on the score sheet as well. And then finally, a header from Gabriel to make him happy again after not getting called up to the Brazilian national team. So yeah, a header from him to make it 3-0. Lovely job. Chat box, let's see what you guys have gone for. Chris is going for a 2-0 to the Arsenal, as Alexander Zinchenko with the assist and Jesus getting a goal, and Odegaard assisting Martinelli. Very specific with the prediction there. John 6-0 to us. Mohammed says 3-0 to Arsenal. David John says 4-0 to Arsenal. Neil reckons it's going to be closer than your panel think, though, going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Trevor says, don't take Wolves lightly. Things can change quickly. Temmie's going for a 3-0 Arsenal. Jesus hat-trick, the return of the king. Stuart McFarlane's going for a 3-0 Jesus, Odegaard and Saka. ML reactions go 3-0 to the three black shirts in the stream. So he's going for a 3-0 win on this. This is actually purple. It just doesn't come up as purple on the screen.
I'm really sorry, Tom. I didn't get the dress code before I came
sorry,
on.
Mate.
You just have to send it next time.
Amir's going for a 2-0 Jesus and White with a celebration as nonchalant as his interviews are. Steve's going for a 3-1. Jesus and Saka on the score sheet. Matthew's going for Wolves will park the bus, so I'll go for a 1-0 Arsenal. Don't score a lot away from home these days. Diane going for a 3-0 Arsenal win. Peter going for a 4-0 Jesus, Odegaard, Gabriel and Xhaka. Nav's going for a 4-1 win with a Jesus brace, Martinelli and Xhaka. And Lynn's going for a 3-1 to the Arsenal as well. I'll start throwing up the rest of your predictions while we're wrapping up today's show. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it as always. Tell people they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me before the game on the North Bank. There's a bar on the upper tier, 103. You'll find me there for about an hour before the game, talking rubbish like I normally do about football and anything else that anybody else is prepared to talk to me about. Other than that, you'll find me in the Discord server, doing my old man dad jokes and basically being the old man of the whole place.
Lovely stuff. Tom, always appreciate your time. Thank you for jumping on. Tell people they can find you, what you're going to be up to.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Tom. I'm just on Twitter, Gooner TC, but I don't know how long Twitter's going to be about for anymore with everything that's going on. So probably in the Discord if I'm active enough.
Yeah, crazy scenes at the moment. And Matt, fantastic debut, mate. Really appreciate you taking the plunge and jumping on. Tell people where they can find you and what you're going to be up to.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitter at Gooner Cowboy or in the Discord at Gooner Cowboy. So yeah.
Lovely stuff. Sweet. Cheers, boys. Dude, make sure you join the Discord if you want to have your chance of jumping on the preview show as these lads have. It's certainly worth the time. Even if you don't want to join on a preview, it's worth just being in there with everybody. Just a great community. Yeah, really, really strong. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, keep following us down the... I was going to say keep following us down the Arsenal way, like I was doing another channel. Just you can tell it's been a long day when I'm throwing out outros from a different YouTube channel. But as always, up the Arsenal.